there's only one way to kick off the Dolphins. Free my boy Reek, all right?
That felt like such a bad omen.
That was crazy. No, I thought the opposite. I thought once that happened, I was like, oh my God. Reek's about to pop off, which she did. Cash anytime touchdown. Which leads us now to this week, which is what my biggest fear for this game, week 1, was that I thought that people, even though it's the Jags, right, in terms of like, they're not a bad team. They're not, the Bills, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the Bills in division, rival, whatever. I was scared that we were kind of looking ahead because it's Thursday night. It's right there. The Bills week, the Bills are obviously very good. The Bills have run the division the last few years. They've had our number for the most part. Thursday night, prime time, early in the season.
Yeah,
I do wish they were crying in the heat, but it's an amazing week 2 game. And I expect us to come on hot and ready for this game. Like I think this is going to be an amazing, amazing game. And we're going to send the Bills home crying back to Buffalo in that shitty state and city they live in.
I do think...
Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Tranquilo Sports Talk. It is me, David Hondel, with my co-host, Poochie. He's coming from behind the camera and he's joining me up here because Andre is God knows where. So
we lost him. We haven't seen him in 72 hours.
Yeah.
If you see him on the street, let him know. Let him know we're thinking about him.
He's still celebrating that big FINS dub. But awesome week of football.
Yeah,
awesome week. Obviously, week 1 of the NFL season, and then we had week 2, which a lot of really good games in college. So, and not to pat ourselves on the back, a huge slate that we nailed, right?
Yeah.
Pooch has got his own thing, which I'll let him elaborate on. But all the picks that we gave out to you guys all hit. So, well, -1, but mostly all hit. You were in the big green if you followed.
You just got to tail us, okay? Tail us, tail our picks.
Come on.
We've been accurate. I think, what's our record standing so far?
Right now, I had a bad week 1, I will say. Get ahead of the horse. Yeah. But I went 4-0 this week. Andre went 3-0. You went 3-1. And then in total, in week 1, you went 2-0. Andre went 2-0. I went 2-4. So.
And that's with NFL combined?
No, that's just college. NFL, we went. I know we all hit Dolphins. No, we all pushed the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Then you hit Steelers. I hit. Andre hit Vikings, and I hit Texans.
And I hit the Cardinals.
And then you hit, but those are the dogs are money lines.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So we actually all missed our dog money line. Mine was brutal. The Titans were up 17-0 and blew that game. All right, that should have been a dog hit.
The Cardinals had a chance.
The Cardinals too. They blew it also.
I thought they had a chance. Dude. I was like, oh my God, what a bet that was.
So so okay in the NFL, still solid, but Finn's got a huge dub, which we'll get into. FIU got the first dub of the season. Let's go. Miami continues to roll.
Yeah.
They did roll at FAMU, and in general, I think we learned a lot about a lot of teams this week in college, and we'll kind of kick it off with college. Before we do that, like, subscribe, comment, share, everything. It really helps. And then, if you want to play Underdog Fantasy, we love playing Underdog, so that's our go-to spot. So go download Underdog, play. Either what do you want to do fantasy, because they still run, even after week 1, they're still running little fantasy league best balls, or play, the stats where you can just pick your favorite player stats, over under. Use code Tranquilo. Get a bunch of bonus cash when you sign up, and enjoy. Send us your picks.
Absolutely.
So going to college, obviously FIU gets dub, Miami gets dub, but I think there's a lot of in my opinion, there's 3 top dogs, and then tier 2 has got a lot of really good teams, right?
Yeah.
And I think Miami falls in that tier 2.
Yeah. Absolutely. I told you last week, we don't have the sample size yet to put us in that tier 1, but we took care of business as we should.
Yes.
We took care of business. These guys only got 3 field goals off. Cam Moore's out by the 4th quarter. It was exactly what a game like this should be. But kind of talking about how we learned a lot about a lot of teams, you can tell which teams are like kind of fraudulent and which teams.
Oh, we'll get to.
Yeah. We'll definitely get into it because I feel like last week was like the week of the dog.
Yeah.
At least in college football. I mean,
there was one big one this week. But yeah.
We'll kind of go into the bets now, but like if people were betting underdogs and like underdog spreads this week, more chances are you made a good amount of money this week because there are a lot of dogs. Like credit to anyone that had NIU on their spread.
That was crazy.
Because anyone that hit on NIU spread and you just pick NIU money line, you're probably up. You're probably going to Vegas right now first class. You probably made yourself a good chunk of change off that bet alone. And then, a lot of teams are just in it closer. I know Bowling Green gave Penn State a run for their money. USF up until maybe like the last 5 minutes of the game was in it. Obviously,
Boise was one that you had on your ticket, but
so I think Boise State was one of those teams that just because they're, I think it's a group of 5 team, they don't look as good. G5, but Boise State has a hell of a team.
That running back,
and they obviously have a Heisman candidate running back. So I think that was too attractive a bet not to miss, just because like how can you have a Heisman favorite and be 20-point underdogs against a team that had a rough week 1?
Yeah, I mean they fooled me. So
in the terms of the college football rankings, like they kind of gave Oregon a good. They didn't really bring him down because they're like that's a quality win against a quality team that might just be outside the top 25.
Yeah.
So even though that spread was as big as it was, that win didn't affect Oregon negatively. It was like you know what, you should have beat them by more, but you got the win. Obviously, Boise State is a lot better than we thought. So we're going to give you, I think they only went down maybe like a spot maybe, or even that's if they did.
Because you guys went up to what, 10?
We went up to 10, which I'm very surprised. I thought we were going to jump up more, especially with all the losses.
Me too. I'm surprised.
I don't think Penn State moved at all.
They didn't.
Penn State didn't move at all, which I mean, surprising. I mean, I'm not saying to knock him out of the freaking top 15, but you can't be a number 8 team in the country and then barely beat Bowling Green. So I mean, but I'm happy with number 10. I mean, like I said, it's FAMU. We took care of business. You know, you can't bump us up after beating FAMU the way we did. You're not gonna bump us up after Ball State, which hopefully we win also. So I understand it, but I am surprised of the teams that did kind of stay in. But outside of that, I mean, everything else was just a crazy week of college football in general.
For sure, and what I'm thinking is I think there's tier 1 is Georgia, Texas, who blew the doors off of Michigan. Michigan is so fraud.
Credit to those boys out in Austin because
they're legit.
They put a beat down on a Michigan team that obviously is, it's light years away from the national championship team they were last year.
Yeah.
You can see the coaching change. You can see the personnel changes. Yeah. Obviously, they still have some, I guess, bad juju in the building with the whole thing with Sherman Moore. I think obviously that's all carrying in from last year. And you're seeing that, unfortunately for them, which, is disheartening to see a team that won a national championship and then kind of fall off so hard. But then again, it helps us, helps the Canes, move up in the rankings. But, I mean, to not even be close in that game and being a top 10 team, I mean, credit to Texas because
is that good. I think Texas is really that good because Michigan, I think their offense stinks. Yeah. But their defense is still, I thought going into this game, still really good.
Yeah.
And Texas just made light work with them. So Texas, for me, it's still Georgia, Texas.
Yeah.
And Ohio State is still probably in that same
Ohio
tier.
Ohio State is disgusting. They have the 2 best running backs in the country. They just found a godsend in this kid, Jeremiah Smith, like I said last week from Shaman, Madonna, and Broward. I mean, the kid is going to be playing on Sundays. He might be, he could very well be the highest receiver ever drafted.
Yeah,
because he is insane. I mean, that kid just went in there and said, I might be the best receiver in college football. Yeah. And I'm only 2 games in. So credit to Ohio State. I mean, I'm super excited to see what UM can do against a team like that. But as of now, those are obviously the top dogs. And then, like you said, the tier 2 teams. I mean, I'll let you say what you think they are, but I think I have in mind kind of what I think.
I think my tier 2 teams. I do think Miami's in that tier 2. I think a team like. I still think Penn State's in it, although they were someone who caught me.
We'll put them
really
on the fringe. We'll put them on the fringe.
They're still tier 2 because their week 1 was very impressive against West Virginia. And then it seemed like just kind of a letdown spot, but it's weird. It's not like they got a bye week next week, which I'm sure they'll correct a lot of things. So I'm not worried about Penn State.
They'll get it fixed.
They did look iffy. They looked pretty iffy, but I'll still put them there. A team that I've liked from the jump that I think just continues to get better and beat the brakes off a top 25 team this week is Tennessee. I think Tennessee's in that tier.
Great quarterback.
He's amazing. Nico's amazing. So I put them there. I still put Bama there, although they were struggling with USF for a while. They kind of blew the doors off late. They're still Bama. They still got a ton of playmakers. Like they're still, to me, in that tier 2. Teams that I kind of... Oh, and Ole Miss is another one who's just killing everybody. And they're really good. It's whether or not they can, kind of make that jump. But right now I have them in tier 2. The team that I'm kind of like... They're 6th in the nation right now. It's Missouri.
I was gonna mention
Missouri is very good. I just I just hear Missouri. I'm like,
so they have a good quarterback in there. I forgot what his name was. I forgot what his name was, but they have an amazing receiver, Luther Burden. So I think right now, I mean, they haven't lost, so you can't really kick them out. I don't know why they were so high to begin with. I don't know what they finished out last year, but. I mean, as of now, from what they are doing, you got to put them in that tier 2 conversation. I mean, like you said, Ole Miss is another one. Ole Miss, I think, has a hell of a team. Shout out to Henry Parrish, ran for, I think, 145 and 4 touchdowns against whoever they played. They have that kid, Jackson Dart. So they have a really good team out there. Obviously, Lane Kiffin's on the helm of that. Been building that team for a while. So Ole Miss, I think, can make some noise in the SEC. Once they get up. I think an Ole Miss Bama game. I don't know if they do play, but that'll be a super.
They should. That's gonna be a blast.
That would be an amazing game. I mean, I would be very surprised to see Ole Miss in the championship against Georgia because I feel like Georgia right now.
Georgia looks unstoppable.
Might be unstoppable right now. Obviously they faced. I don't think they played anyone this. I think they played.
They beat the brakes off of somebody.
Yeah, but they beat Clemson obviously handily.
Yes. Yeah.
But then, like we said, I don't think Clemson. I don't know. Clemson won this week. Now when they get into ACC play, we'll see if Clemson was one of those fraudulent kind of teams. But I think Ole Miss can definitely make some noise. Credit to them. I mean, the team they built out there, the last few years. But I think right now, a team I think is super underrated that I don't think they're ranked yet, but has been dogs in pretty much all the games and isn't doing is Army.
Yeah, Army. Shout out to Army.
Listen, guys, if you see Army as an underdog, this week, take the money line on Army because they were, I think, believe 4-point underdogs against FAU, and I think they ended up winning by like 17.
Yeah, they killed FAU and FAU too.
Army's a pretty good team to look out for. You want some of those sneaky picks that you see us doing so well with. Army has been in my, I think this week, I think me and you had Army.
You and Andre had it on the thing. I did take Army, but I didn't have it in my lock.
So Army is really fun to watch. And then outside of that, I think it's going to be fluctuating throughout the year. I think the top 10 will be the top 10 outside of maybe any big upsets. Obviously, Notre Dame, we'll see how they bounce back from a big loss.
Notre Dame fell. Oregon too. Oregon for me is they haven't looked very good. I'd put them in tier 3, although they were my preseason.
Unfortunately, they have such a good roster.
They do, and they have their O-line though is really shaky.
I mean, this kid was a Heisman favorite, Dylan Gabriel.
I watched the game. He's still he's still playing well. Like he's still good, obviously.
Yeah.
The O-line's not very good. At least from the game. I watched that whole Boise State game and it was kind of wild. I was like, these guys are not dominating the front seven. And so they're a team that I would put, from what I've seen, in tier 3. And then another team in tier 2, especially after the huge week 2 win, is FIU. FIU is going to get that 12 spot, G5 spot. Pooch was with me at the game on Saturday.
Awesome game.
We got some really cool content coming actually you'll have already seen it by the time this comes out. But yeah, so... FIU's got a big one this week. I'm on an ultra hate week. I've got the Bills this week, and I've got FAU. So I'm on Shulable, and I'm on Bills week watch.
Yeah.
So very excited from what I saw from FIU because even in that Indiana game, I saw enough improvements to prove to me that this team has taken a jump from last year. Obviously a very relative jump, but a big jump from what I think a lot of people were expecting coming into this. I mean, we were touchdown dogs in this game at home, and we beat them 52-16. This offense, is still a little shaky at the line. But if you give Keon even a little bit of time, he can make a lot of plays with his legs, with his arm. And what's the most impressive part is the defense. The defense, I mean, they had 6 picks on Saturday. Like, the defense, we're putting pressure every play. And so I'm very excited to what this defense can do, especially against FAU. FAU's had our number. They've won the last, 6, 7 Shula Bowls. So the fact that we've took a year off and now we're back, I think this defense is going to be a game changer. It makes me feel like have hope going into this week because I'm not, from what I've seen of FAU, their offense and that quarterback does not impress me. Their defense is very good though. So I am a bit worried in terms of if Keon's going to have enough time and if we can establish some sort of running game, which we were able to do later in the game on Saturday. But in terms of defense, I think this defense legit and can stand can go toe to toe with anybody in the G5. You know, obviously, you know, when we played, you know, Miami in the playoffs as the 12 seed, 5 seed game, and we knocked them out. It's gonna be electric. But
look, credit
Coach,
to
I want to hear some of your thoughts because you were at the game.
Yeah,
so.
credit obviously as you know. Obviously, like I said, I live 2 minutes from FIU. Obviously, you know, I root for them. You know. I was impressed. I think the offense, there were a lot of drops. There were a lot of points.
It could have been more, but yeah.
There are a lot of drops, especially like on good passes too. But defensively, I was super impressed. You have Brian Blades' son. He caught a pick 6 there. The kid that impressed me, I was just flying around, was this kid Potts.
Potts
was a monster.
He's amazing.
But
our DBs are legit with Potts.
Yeah.
We've got Potts. We've got Christian.
Well, is Potts a DB or is he like kind of like a Sam?
Kind of a Sam. Yeah, he's a safety technically, but he does.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. Yeah.
And we send him on blitzes all the time. Like he was cracking quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, honestly, it was super impressive. Obviously, I was super happy to see FIU get a win, especially when they're dogs. I had him on my line, so thank you. Thank you, FIU. But no, obviously super impressive. And honestly, I think it's a favorable matchup for you guys against FAU. Yeah. I think FAU right now is 0-2 right now.
0-2, yeah.
0-2 coming off a loss in where they were the favorites in the game. They pretty much got steamrolled the whole game.
Yeah.
So in terms of who has some momentum coming in, I think you guys do have momentum because you guys were the dogs. So it's now the flips are script. I don't know. I haven't seen the lines come out yet.
So line has moved now. We're still 5.5 point underdog.
At least in the point that we're recording, I think it's still too early because these lines are going to move a ton, especially now with injuries and stuff. But obviously credit to FIU. And then back to my team. Obviously not too much to say. I mean, we took care of business as we should have. You know, we went in. You know, it was a pretty good turnout for a game against FAMU and Hard Rock. Apparently, I think we had about 55,000 people in the stands for a game that really wasn't, you know, that crazy.
It's not actually 55. It's
whatever.
Like,
listen, this is.
It's because, I mean, for FIU had an awesome turnout. Way more than I expected. The students definitely showed out. They had given a number closer to 20,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it wasn't 20,000.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a lot. I saw the Yum game, definitely a lot more than expected also. So shout out to the people who showed up. But it's just funny. Every time I hear those numbers, I saw the FIU numbers too, and I even saw, I'm like, okay.
Well,
but
regardless, for a game against FAMU, it's a pretty good turnout. That means people obviously excited behind the team. We play Ball State next week. We should take care of business. I think I'll get probably more vocal and more into it once we get into our ACC play, which is the week following. I'm very excited for that USF game.
Yeah.
Because USF looks like they are hungry. It looks like they have a team that can push people around. So I'm excited to see that game. We're actually away. We're away for that game where we play in Raymond James. So excited for that game. But right now, this week, Ball State, another game where we should take care of business. Cam Ward should be done by the fourth quarter. Give our freshmen some snaps there.
Yeah.
So honestly, not too crazy. But you know, speaking of college football, and I know you wanted to mention it.
Well, right before we go into picks, you got to talk about this, bad boy.
I hit the best bet of my life. Okay, I hit a 7-leg parlay.
Yeah. We
$40
bucks with this.
$40 for $3,400. It was a 7-leg parlay that included South Carolina plus 9.5. South Carolina ended up winning. I had who was it? FIU in there. Mm-hmm. I had USF to cover. Mm-hmm. I had Stanford to cover.
You had Boise State, I think, in there.
I had Boise State and I had Nebraska money line.
Nebraska was
Nebraska.
Speaking of Nebraska was another one that looks actually really good.
Yeah, Nebraska, they're up there.
I still put them in tier 3 because it's still like whatever, but Nebraska looks good too.
Yeah, Colorado's fraudulent.
Yes.
But besides that, it was a bet that came down to the wire because the Sanford line hits exactly. It was 38.5 and UF won by 38.
Yeah.
The USF line was smooth sailing. Outside, the only game I actually sweated was
the UF game.
The UF game because. I mean, even when they had the ball, like they had their backups running it down the field, and like the Sanford guys were like making like they're just desperate. So, but regardless, it was a great line. It was a very fun experience. So that was the first big hit of the year of the football year.
That's a big hit.
A big hit.
That's a big hit.
I'm still trying to cash out, so Hard Rock help me out.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, it was fun. So thank you to FIU for covering. Thank you to Miami for covering the spread. I took the over on the 54.5.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Thank you to USF for balling.
Yes.
Thank you to Boise State for being good. And South Carolina 9.5 point dogs and they won. Not too bad. Yeah. So super fun experience. So I mean, honestly, sometimes you got to go with the dog. I think, like I said, this week was the week of the dog, and my leg showed it. I mean, all these underdogs covered their spreads, these insane spreads, and some of them they didn't even get close to it. Some of them were like 21 points away from hitting.
Yeah.
So it was super fun. It was super cool, and I think I had 6 people on the line with me watching the Boise State game as it was going on.
When you and the boys are locked in.
So all of my boys kind of tailed. All of my boys were in it with me. So we were on PlayStation and we were just like, dude, what's the score?
Yeah.
And by the fourth quarter, I think it was like tied going to the fourth quarter. They ended up winning by a field goal. So I'm like, oh my God, what a hit.
Yeah.
So it was super cool. Obviously, I didn't have the same look with the NFL games. But that would be a good transition into NFL Week 1.
Yes.
It's the official start of the chase for the Miami Dolphins Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So kind of asking you, before we get into Dolphins, what did you think about the landscape of NFL as a whole, looking at it in Week 1?
Yes. I think the NFL, there was a lot of sloppy play in the beginning. Kind of all around. The Dolphins were one of those teams. And just kind of like, I mean, the Bengals get upset by the Pats. They don't look great. There's a couple, Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, and the Steelers was a super sloppy game. There was like a lot of sloppiness going around, and it's really just for me. What the biggest takeaway for me is that we're gonna run the table, and we'll get to the FINS in a little bit. But other teams that the Eagles-Packers game was really good. The Chiefs-Ravens. There were a lot of really good games. The Chiefs-Ravens game was really good.
Monday night's game, 49ers against the Jets. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, poor guy. I mean, you can tell he doesn't look the same. He can't move.
But at least he made it through the game, right?
He made it through the game. He made it healthy, so good for the Jets. But I don't know. I don't think
I'm not scared of them at all.
I'm not scared of them. I think there's, especially in our conference, obviously the Bills. It wasn't until like
another team that looks sloppy, which we'll get into the Bills obviously. But
then obviously you saw it was weird because I feel like this week was like a defensive week. Like Chicago,
it was a lot of unders.
Chicago won a game without scoring an offensive touchdown. They won like handedly. They won by like 4. I think they had 3.
No. They won it at the end. The Titans
Chicago.
The Titans were up 17-0.
Well, that's right. And then they had
the Titans.
They had a blocked field goal for a touchdown. They had a
pick
punt
6 at the end.
I think they had a punt. They didn't have a punt blocked for a touchdown.
They had the punt block because Simone Biles' husband.
And then they had the pick 6, Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah.
So
don't do that.
So it was a lot of deep. And then in the Pittsburgh game also, I don't know if they had that many offenses. They didn't really do too much on offense, but their defense was lights out.
Yeah.
Teams I did think looked good. I think Houston looks really good.
Houston's good.
It looks like Houston looks really good. The Colts were pretty impressive.
That division is actually going to be pretty good. I mean, the Jags are even not bad at either.
Who else looked good? The Lions-Rams game was super entertaining.
Lions-Rams game was a really good game. I think both those teams are going to be really good once Puka comes back. I mean, the Rams are going to be good. I think the Rams are going to be really good.
Yeah, and then outside of that, I mean, obviously the Chiefs and the Ravens, I mean, we knew that was going to be a dogfight. They both look good. But in terms of like the Sunday games, the Sunday slates, I mean, outside of those teams, I think everyone else, I don't know who else kind of like really popped off the paper.
No, the Cowboys had a look pretty good.
Yes, Cowboys had a great win.
Shout out to Lou.
I mean, I feel bad for the Panthers. I mean, they got steamrolled by the Saints, and I didn't know the Saints.
I think it's more how bad the Panthers are.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young. I mean, poor guy.
To be honest.
So I forgot about that game because you don't really think the Saints have the roster to put up a game like that, and they did.
Yeah.
I think the final score was like what 47 to like
40,
something
like
crazy to like single digits.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a crazy game. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, the Pats won a game against the Bengals that they're pretty short-handed. I think Jamar Chase was like a last-minute thing. They didn't have T. Higgins. They're still figuring out that whole room.
And they always start slow.
Yeah.
And like
Credit to the
pick it up.
Patriots, though. Great win for them against an opponent where they were, I think they were 7-point dogs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good win for them.
They knocked a lot of people out of the survivor pool. I'll tell you that much.
So, but like outside of that, I don't really think there were too many teams that popped off the paper. And
it's early.
You can make the argument that if you're an outsider, you don't think the Dolphins popped off the paper either, especially in their week 1 win.
For sure not. And we'll get into the Dolphins. And to kick off, there's only one way to kick off the Dolphins. Free my boy Reek, all right? Free Reek, all right? That was crazy.
Honestly,
first off.
That felt like such a bad omen.
That was crazy. No, I thought the opposite. I thought once that happened, I was like, oh my God, Reek's about to pop off, which she did, cash anytime touchdown. But like that whole thing was surreal, and then now the aftermath of it is talked about a lot, and it's going around. It's a lot's happening around it, but insane the whole scenario, and then to go out and we come out sloppy.
Very sloppy.
There was at a point, and I kid you not, there was a point in this game where I mean the Jags are about to go up 24-7, and I am thinking in my head, I'm like, this season's done. Like this team, like what am I watching right now? Like I'm here, I'm watching in my stand. I'm my new season tickets.
I was right here. I was in the same room watching the game with my dad.
I'm in the sun. My new season I'm in the sun, and I'm there. Oh, this team, man. And then all of a sudden, our boy Javon Holland comes out with that peanut punch that turned the game completely. He saved the game entirely.
Honestly, it had one of those feelings that might be a play of the year for us because of the
it could be. It's gonna be the start of the Super Bowl video.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the start, the first play.
Honestly, that play was such a catalyst because after that play, it was the touchdown.
Reek was the next play.
The next play was Reek.
Free Reek.
And then, I mean, so I was going to ask you, I mean, I wanted to kind of ask you what were 3 things that you didn't like about what you saw, and then maybe a couple things that you did like. For me, off the bat, I thought our play calling was very shaky.
Mike did not have a great.
I think
in my
Mike
opinion, I thought one of Mike's worst games.
So I think Mike McDaniel did not call the best games just because I felt he's calling plays that don't fit our personality. Those halfback swings, like unless you have receivers that can make those kind of blocks, which I think we do.
We were doing that last year too.
True.
I think the difference is that when we did it last year, it was the first time that we were doing it.
Yeah.
This year. If that's the only way we're going to run, everyone knows that's how you game plan against
also, I know this kind of went like over because it wasn't really made that big a deal, but we did lose Mostert kind of early into the game. And
Mostert and A-Chain, by the way, neither one have practiced this week.
Yeah, Mostert leading early kind of put a hinder on the game plan. Shout out to Jeff Wilson that came in and got some hard yards there at the end.
He was great for us.
O-line wise, I thought our run blocking was shaky.
Yeah.
I do think that's a combination of the runs we were calling, like those outside sweeps. I'm not a big fan of those outside sweeps unless you have the Trent Williams and stuff to go out there and make it, because that does cover a receiver crackback. And there's one play where I saw Tyreek blocking Arik Armstead, who's like 6'7", and I'm like, he got a holding call at Bowden.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I mean, this can't be the block that you're gonna set here.
Yeah.
I thought we had a lot of drops. Durham Smythe.
We had a couple. Yeah, Durham Smythe had a couple. My boy John did have a drop.
We missed a couple plays there.
Barrios had one, yeah.
But obviously there was light at the end of the tunnel. I did really like how Tua was looking at the option to run, which he did.
He did. He had a few good runs.
He ran for a first down. Another one he ran for got called back.
Yeah, he did.
So if you don't work in the game, you wouldn't know that happened. But he took off for like a 12-yard run. Mm-hmm. He looked a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. I think our O-line in the pass blocking game did look pretty good.
We had a good score.
I think pass blocking wise,
Armstead was really good, and so was Jackson.
And Jackson, Eichenberg graded out pretty well. He did great at an 80. You got to give him his flowers. He did look good. I think our O-line did good enough to get us the win. But obviously, it just looks, it took us a while to settle in, kind of clear up the dust. But I think one of the things I did like was that ability to kind of get out of that hole. Which I think last year you saw us go down by a lot, and I don't think we ever really came back. Similar to the Chiefs game, like we never really kind of made our way back into it. Anthony Weaver's second half defense, amazing.
I thought even his first half. I thought, for me, the defense, so I'll start here. I agree with a lot of your points. The Mike McDaniel thing, for sure, in my opinion, I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the decision he made. I mean, the first drive, he checked, like, I was all in because, like, all right, first game, whatever. Going for a 4th and 8 is kind of crazy. First drive, whatever. That didn't really have a true effect on anything. But we did a lot of, like, our entire game plan was a lot of screens, and I get it. We've got the fastest squad on earth, right? So obviously that's going to play into the factor.
He didn't go vertical much.
It took a while for us to start getting a bit more vertical down the field. And there were just a few calls there that I thought were a bit too, like, cutesy. Wasn't a huge fan of that. And then, you know, we were pretty sluggish on offense in the first half. The defense, I mean, really outside of, like, you know, they scored 17 in the first half. Yeah. But, like, even the 17, like, one of them was that PI, and then the other one was a dime by Trevor Lawrence. Like, that pass was gorgeous. If you watch the slow motion of where he threw it, where he was crazy. Yeah. But in terms of, like, the negatives or the positives, I think the biggest point was the fact that we came back, and you can see this team already tested week 1, down at home, 14 points, and boom, come back, kick a huge game-winning field goal after Sanders had missed a field goal right before. But he hit that 52-yarder. I mean, I was sweating bullets, and he hit it.
I think every Dolphins fan was scared 100%. About that kick because he had missed one previously.
He missed the one right before. Yeah. And so obviously that was great. But the fact that we were able to pull off that win is a huge testament to what this team can do. They're battle tested. Their will. They never gave up. And then the defense is to me very impressive with what Weaver's been able to do.
Calais Campbell.
The D-line, Calais Campbell, was huge, especially in the beginning. Then at the end of the game, Jalen Phillips getting a sack on his return. Ogba getting a sack at the end.
Jalen Ramsey making a huge play on that fourth down call, which stupid call on Doug Peterson's part. That
100%. That was a ridiculous call.
That was a ridiculous play call.
It didn't do anything for us, but whatever. Ramsey, and then obviously Javon and Poyer had a good game too. And so the defense in general, I think, and they're going to just keep getting better, which is super positive. And then offensively, like, again, we started sluggish, but we saw kind of more in the second half. Yeah. Tua airing it out a bit more. Waddle, I thought, had an amazing game.
Absolutely.
Reek obviously had that huge play, but that Waddle was really consistent. And we just got to get more consistency. I mean, my guy Jonnu had a few opportunities. He dropped one. He did have another catch, but he's someone that he's a mismatch for anybody. We got to take advantage of that. Yeah. And then we got to see who's going to step up as our third weapon. Braxton was playing a lot. He didn't have his best game.
He had a couple drops there. I don't think we utilized that kid Dubois. Is that his name that we picked up?
The guy I don't know who else even had a target.
He was in the game. He didn't get targeted at all. But back to your point about bouncing back, I know one of the big things that came out of the locker room in postgame was that in halftime, Tua kind of got on everyone's ass. And like he did it. It wasn't just like, come on, guys. Like he got on Reek. He called everyone out. He kind of rallied everyone together, which
good. He's more confident.
It's the confidence, you know, and you kind of see that. Like he never looked kind of startled. Like he wasn't forcing a lot of passes. You know, and funny enough, like I don't know if this is considered a down game for him, but he went 338 with a touchdown, which in the scope of what NFL was this week, he right now leads the league in passing yards.
Yeah. So for him is the reason, and the people will keep saying it and whatever. You just got to kind of roll with it. Obviously, a lot of the plays were behind the line of scrimmage. They were, quick plays, whatever. The bomb to Waddle was a dime. The bomb to Reek was a dime. Like Tua's no turnovers. You know what I mean? Like he, obviously there's
and he got mobile.
Certain spots, and he got mobile. Certain spots, obviously, but like, and at the end of the game, it's like you need. Like Tua, we need Tua to take us down to where we need to.
Absolutely,
he got us there. Like you know what I mean. So like,
listen, one fact that goes pretty, I think, overlooked is that the Jaguars are not a bad team
at all.
The Jaguars
Jags are good.
The Jaguars can run the table.
First off, and this is the thing with the NFL. The NFL, everyone to an extent
is
good, right? There's better teams.
No, but the Jaguars are a playoff caliber team.
Even the Panthers can beat people. Even the Giants can beat people. The Jaguars are a playoff caliber team. They're going to be on the cusp.
Yeah,
like they're
I mean,
one
they
of
have
those,
NTN,
bubble teams.
Trevor Lawrence.
They got a lot of weapons, and their D line's good too. Like they got a lot of guys.
And
there.
they have Josh Allen Hines who just got paid 17.5 sacks last season.
They're no slouch. I don't want to make it seem like
this is a good win.
We expected it to be. It was a 3-point spread at home. Like this was going to be a battle.
This was a good win,
and we
it's a quality win. Obviously, it
win.
didn't look pretty, but the fact that we came back against a team that could very well be in the wild card for all we know. I mean, you'll look back at this and be like, wow, that was a hell of a win.
Good win, and it's a good win. And we have a super hard schedule. Mm-hmm. Like these are games that you got to win, and they can propel you forward. Yeah, exactly. So, which leads us now to this week, which is what my biggest fear for this game, week 1, was that I thought that people, even though it's the Jags, right, in terms of like they're not a bad team, they're not the Bills, right?
Oh yeah.
And the Bills in division rival, whatever. I was scared that we were kind of looking ahead because it's Thursday night, it's right there. Luckily, we got this win because it would be a much sour note if we were coming in with a loss, I think. And they did the same thing, by the way. They were down the same amount, 14. They came back and won. So we're coming in
against a team that
things.
could be argued as worse than the Jaguars.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. So I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good for this week. I'm really feeling really good about the season in general. But the Bills week, the Bills are obviously very good. The Bills have run the division the last few years. They've had our number. For the most part, but I'm feeling very good for a few reasons. One, I do think, we are the better team. If you look at the teams, we are the better team. I think we have the better coach. Even if Mike, I thought, didn't have his greatest game this week, I still think he's better than Sean McDermott, in my opinion. I think we pretty much match up and beat them in almost every category, and their biggest difference maker is obviously Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is someone who is obviously very good. And he does play very well against us. And they have our number, like I said. But Thursday night prime time, early in the season, I do wish they were crying in the heat, but it's an amazing week 2 game. And I expect us to come on hot and ready for this game. I think this is going to be an amazing, amazing game. And we're gonna send the Bills home crying back to Buffalo in that shitty state and city they live in.
I do. Listen, obviously you got to give the Bills their flowers, as they own us. They owned us last year.
They don't own us.
They've run the table.
They don't own us. They don't own shit. They've never won a Super Bowl. They are literally the pit to my fucking stain.
Last year they had our number.
Yes, they had our number last year. But they don't own us.
Okay, we're gonna cut out the part that say they own us. We're cutting it out.
They don't own us. All right. Nobody owns us. All right.
Okay, but I feel like this Bills team is heavily reliant on Josh Allen getting outside and making plays with his legs, because I think passing wise, he gets passes open because people are so scared of him running the ball, which in reality, I don't think the receivers are the caliber of the Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davises. Nope. I think the reason they won last game is because Josh Allen not only threw for 2, but he also ran in for 2.
Yeah.
So I think this game, I feel that we're going to score a ton of points this game. I do feel we're going to score points because if the Cardinals were there scoring points, obviously one of them was a kick return touchdown.
Their defense has gotten worse.
But and then obviously I think Matt Milano's still banged up. So I do think that our offense against their defense, we should be able to put up points as long as you're just hammering away, doing the right things. Don't get cute. Yeah. If it's a 2nd and 2, just fucking run it straight, dude. We were running it straight in the fourth quarter and we were gaining 5-6 yards, just do the right things on offense, but on defense, it's really going to be dependent on if these new additions to the defense, the Jordan Brooks, the Anthony Walkers, and see if that linebacker
Jordan Poyer revenge game.
Jordan Poyer, if we can keep Allen in the pocket, because in every single game that he has played against us, he hurts us most when he gets free.
Yeah.
When he makes his
legs.
Last year he converted a 3rd and 15 with his legs.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you leave a spy out there? Do you send 3? Whatever it may be, we have to keep him in the pocket, because if you keep him in the pocket, you force him to throw to these guys, I think it's going to be a dinner time for us, because I really don't think that with the secondary that we do have, I don't see why we can't leave Ramsey and Fuller on the island.
Yeah.
So that front seven is where our money's going to be made. And I do think that our game this week, as it kind of was last game, it's going to be up to the defense to just not so much obviously stop them from scoring, because I think they might score.
They will score.
But don't let them freaking get off these. Don't let them get out of situations where Josh Allen runs a freaking 2nd and 15 and gets a first down with his legs, you know?
Yeah.
Keep him under control. Force him to stay in the pocket. And I think if you force him to really just have to throw the ball, then if that means sending a blitz and making him, get it out quick, or, sending people back and having like a spy, I think Anthony Weaver's going to scheme up. Obviously, coming from a team that had to freaking practice against Lamar Jackson, you would think he has some sort of scheme to deal with a running quarterback.
They're ready. Yeah.
Obviously, it's a quick turnaround. A lot of injuries, unfortunately. I think we are a little banged up after that week 1 game. Our running backs are banged up. So we might see a lot of Jalen Wright this game, depending on how that goes out.
He's back. He was out for week 1.
So. Hopefully we get a little Malik Washington sighting. Hopefully we get healthy. I think on the O-line wise, I think everyone's healthy there. Defensively, I think everyone's, good. So that's always good to see. Obviously at the skill position level, we obviously have, both Achane and Mostert hurt. Hopefully we're all healthy and we just bring the full squad in on Thursday Night Football.
I want to beat
them too, man. I want to beat the brakes off them.
It's a huge first off, it's a huge tester in terms of obviously we know where we stand. We're a very good team. We're back-to-back playoff performances. We haven't gone over that playoff win hump, but we're still one of the more dominant teams these last 2 years. Obviously the Bills have run this division.
It's a narrative win.
It's a narrative win, and it's one that it's a confidence booster too. You need to prove yourself that hey, this is our division now.
Yeah.
This is you guys had fun. You took zero advantage of it because you didn't win anything. Congrats. Now it's our turn.
Yeah. No,
on the run division, we have no excuse. We should beat them at home week 2. And I mean it when I say it. We are the better team. Yeah. They have Josh Allen. Josh Allen is amazing. He is, in my opinion, the second best quarterback in the league. He's unreal. Maybe second, third. Lamar second, Tua third, Josh Allen fourth. But he's amazing. But the team in general has gotten worse.
Yeah,
they have. They objectively have gotten worse. So I think, have gotten even better, and we need to prove that, and we need to go out and win.
And we got the rust off. It looks like we got the rust off.
Yes.
It looks like we got the rust off. We should be.
Go for 2.
Like I said, I hope McDaniel really just keeps it simple. I hope he doesn't get too complicated. And we just go in there and we just take care of business, whether that's using it physically, whether that's just taking the top off of them.
Yeah.
I just want to see us go north and south and not have to go so much vertical, or horizontal, unless you see something that it gives you the opportunity to do that.
Unless they're giving it to you, right?
Don't live and die by the screen.
Yeah.
Use the screen whenever you see them giving you something. Take the top off of them, and then you see them back, throw a screen then.
Maybe that's, honestly, maybe it is. Maybe that's what they saw in terms of, people are going to play us because they're going to play us.
And the Jacksonville was playing back.
Yeah.
We were just unfortunately missing some assignment. We're missing blocks. But Jacksonville was playing back. They were playing back. They were playing back. So I assume that the Bills are going to do something similar.
Yeah.
They have film on us. They know what our offense looks like. It's just, for the most part, still the core group of guys from last year. It just depending on just making it happen. Making the plays. I think that football is all determined about 2 to 3 plays that really determine a game. Make sure that those 2 to 3 plays go our way, and just go in there and not make mistakes, dude.
100%.
Go north and south, and if you do have to punt from the fucking 45 and put it in that position. Yeah. I don't want to see giving the ball at the 50.
And
so
because Josh is going to make his mistakes, by the way.
Yeah.
He's someone that will turn the ball over. We need to capitalize on those opportunities. 2, make sure we're playing a clean game.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the way you beat the Bills is getting them frustrated because they're so used to just cruising.
I want hits. I need hits on
we have.
Even little bumps, late bumps, Wilkins used to do. We need hits.
We need to get in his head.
Yeah.
We need to let him know that this is not last year. This is not the year before. That this is a new year.
Yeah.
That obviously we're not gonna live in that storyline where the Bills beat the Dolphins.
Nope.
So
not this time.
I'm super excited. I'm excited to see the boys back out there. We get 2 football games in the span of 5 days.
Yeah.
So at the time this will be released, the game will be happening probably in a couple of hours. So I think we'll all be ready. We'll all be posted up somewhere.
Yeah.
Dave will probably be at the game.
I will be there. Yes, I will be there.
I might make an appearance at the game. We're
Let's
still
go,
figuring
Pooch.
it out. But if I'm not, I will be screaming my lungs out at a local Duffy's or Sports Grill. So catch me there with the boys repping. But no, man, honestly, I think it's exciting to see football back. I think everyone's happy
100%.
when football's back.
It's the best time of
And
year.
and then good luck to all those guys playing fantasy football. I know a lot of shakeups in the fantasy football.
I went
world.
0-7 this week in fantasy football, so
like I said, it's just week 1. Now week 2, now you get to see what teams are, and hopefully the Dolphins are on that winning side. Come week 3, where I forgot who we're playing
prediction,
next.
Prediction.
Prediction. I see
week 3, I believe.
I see 27-17 Miami.
Love it. 27-17, 50-0. Book it. Let's go. Real prediction though, I'm gonna go 35-21. I'm gonna go 2 scores too, because why not?
Why not? Put some numbers up.
Why not us?
Why not us?
Let's go.
Why not us?
All right, Pooch. That pretty much wraps that up. And we're gonna end it on some picks here.
Yeah.
And you want to start college first, or you want to go?
Let's go see what's available in college right now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't love the slate this weekend. I've got 3 picks. I'm not a huge fan again of a lot of games, but obviously FIU in the Shula Bowl plus 5.5. Play the money line also for fun, but plus 5.5. I like it. I like the over in the Arizona Kansas State game.
So I was gonna say I like the spread there.
Which Kansas State -7?
No, I like Arizona plus 7.
Oh, you like Arizona? That's not bad.
I think they have a gangster receiver and they have a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think for a 14 to a 20, I don't think Arizona's that bad.
All right, let me write that down.
So I do like Arizona here plus 7.5. That will be on my slate
7.5
for sure. I'll have him.
I got Arizona over 58.
Another game that I really like, and this is the same way I went. South Carolina plus 7 against LSU.
All right, South Carolina plus 7.
South Carolina has a very sneaky good team. They've taken care of business this last 2 weeks. And LSU, I always say they took care of business, but they're in a game with, I forgot what
they were.
So I really like South Carolina there. Dre's going to hate me. I'm taking Memphis money line against Florida State.
I would just keep fading Florida State.
I'm going to take Memphis money line against Florida State.
I love it.
And another game that I like.
I've got one. I'm gonna also take another over. I'm gonna go over 54 in the Boston College Missouri game. Guano under center.
Okay.
And Missouri, great
Not
offense.
bad.
I'm gonna go that over. So.
Okay, I like that. This game is pretty attractive. I don't know how I lean. Texas A&M, Florida. Texas A&M right now is a 4-point dog as it stands. Recording this on
they're 4-point favorites.
4-point favorites. Or -4.
I won't bet Florida. Like Florida, after week 1. I don't know.
I don't like that either. I don't like that pick either. But I do like my Memphis, South Carolina, and Arizona.
Yeah.
You can put me down as those 3.
I got my 3 too.
I'm not gonna touch the Miami game, just because I think it's just too.
Save it for USF.
Yeah, we'll save it. USF this week is playing. I forgot about USF. USF the week after. Oregon State could be interesting. Right now, Oregon is -16.
I would keep fading Oregon too, man.
I know, dude.
Until I see something from Oregon.
Yeah,
I might add Oregon State.
If you've been fading Oregon, you're probably making a better money.
I was the opposite of you. I liked Oregon -19. I was like, okay, if Oregon's the team that I think they are, this is the bounce back spot.
Yeah.
And they almost lost. So Oregon State, I can see Oregon State keeping it pretty close too. So
another game that I might take too is Colorado State against Colorado.
I saw that. Yes.
Colorado right now,
dude. Colorado's in shambles. Shedeur Sanders.
I think I'm taking them plus 7 also, dude.
Dude, they should have won last year. Colorado State.
Okay,
that was one of the best games of college.
I'll put you down for me. I'll put myself down as Arizona spread. Okay. I'll put South Carolina
spread.
Memphis
money line.
And
Colorado State.
And we'll put Colorado State
plus 7.
We'll put in plus 7 there.
Okay.
So I'll put those down as my picks.
Cool.
Do you want to do a dog of the week too?
No, we'll do that just NFL.
All right.
So college football picks: Pooch, Arizona plus 7.5, South Carolina plus 7, Memphis money line, Colorado State plus 7. I've got FIU plus. Wow, we're only dogs. FIU plus 5.5, and then I've got 2 overs in the Arizona game.
The reason I think a lot of people are taking dogs is because the dogs, they're making a lot of good teams dogs.
The dogs eat early.
By not like a small amount. They're not like 3-point dogs. These are 7-point dogs, and they've performed well in these last 2 weeks. So it's why is Arizona has won pretty good the last 2 weeks, and you're putting them 7.5 against a team they're playing Arizona State?
Kansas State. Kansas State.
So I'm like, dude, like these are 2 ranked teams. You think one of them is a touchdown favorite, and Arizona right now has arguably one of the best receivers. Like, if you have a guy that is one of the best at their position, and they've been playing good, like why not take them?
I agree.
Like the same reason why I really like Colorado State. Like Colorado has not shown anything to say that I am a good team.
Yeah.
Like Shedeur Sanders, like his team is going to turn on him soon.
The thing is with him is that he is so obviously he's very good.
He's very good, but
like, he is the biggest diva. Like, dude, him throwing his O-line under the bus again. I was like, dude, look, dude, get over yourself. Like, it's a team sport. Like back your guy.
As a guy that played football and a guy that went in there, like, if you're a quarterback, no matter how bad your O-line is, you have to defend your guys.
Yeah.
Like, you should never be the guy, like, especially as a quarterback, you never throw your players under the bus.
100%.
You never blame your receivers for drops.
100%.
You never blame your blocking, even if they did do it.
I know,
even if it was the case.
Like, real leaders never throw anybody else.
Is that it seems like Deion is okay with it.
Of course he is.
Like, and then you can see that even Travis Hunter, who could be one of the best, like, he's an amazing player. Like, even he's like at a point where he's like, "What the hell is happening here?"
Yeah.
And dude, last year Colorado State was bullying them.
Yeah.
So I really like Colorado State to go in there and just get the revenge from last year and maybe even pull it off this year.
Yeah,
so,
I could see that. And
dude,
they kept those guys, the guys that didn't take the NIL money, and say, "I'm gonna add Colorado State to my card," because honestly, I'm with you. Like, screw that.
Yeah, so I think that right now Colorado's the earth is crumbling beneath them. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of these dog picks are very attractive. Like, all you have to do is see how they're performing.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, dude, like they're not 7 point worse than these guys. They really aren't.
I know.
So tell me if you'd like. Those are the picks I'm gonna put in. And if I win again next week, you just might only have me give my picks.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Listen, man, we had good weeks.
Yeah.
But Pooch is out here killing it.
Yeah. So on that note, now let's go over to
NFL.
the NFL.
All right, I got my slate here. Obviously, I got them early already. I see the lines moving in our favor.
Miami, yeah.
I took the Dolphins at -1.5.
So I think Miami moved because they just lost one of their starting corners.
They did, yeah.
I think it's Teron.
That's another one, yeah.
Teron. I forgot, but he is one of the starting corners. Right now, as it stands, Jacksonville is a -3 favorite over the Browns. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that because Deshaun Watson looked kind of ass.
And he also has a new thing coming after him, so like he's loser.
So I like Jacksonville money line here.
I like the Rams. The Rams are dogs. I know they lost Puka, but like, I think they're going to be just.
I like the Rams.
I like the Rams there.
I like the Rams.
I've got an over on mine.
I got my dog of the week, but we'll save that for the end.
I like that. Okay.
I got my dog. But in terms of picks, so obviously we'll take Miami.
All right, so we're going to both take
Miami,
the Dolphins. I have them 1.5, but
I'll take them at 2.5.
You want 2.5?
I'll take them at 2.5.
We'll do 2. We'll do both at -2.
Okay, we'll take it -2.
I got 1.5 already, but
I like Cleveland taking care. Jacksonville -3.
Jags -3.
I like Indianapolis -3.
Indy -3. All right.
And I like Pittsburgh -2.5.
Pittsburgh, where are they playing?
Denver.
All right, Steelers -2.5. You're rolling with the Steelers again. That's who you picked, by the way.
Yeah.
They were +3.
Yeah,
and they ended up winning.
They ended up winning. Okay, and then my dog of the week.
Tampa
Bay +7 against the Lions.
So, but it's money line. You know that, right?
Money line, excuse me. Tampa Bay money line.
Yeah. Bucks money. They looked good. The Bucks looked good. Baker was cooking
Bucks
out there
money line
with the boys
against the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions obviously have a very good team. But the Bucks also have a very good team. They might not all have superstars, but they have a lot of good players everywhere.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield looks like he's on a roll. Baker Mayfield looked
good.
Really good.
He looked good.
Threw for, I believe, 289 and 4 tuds.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin got action. My boy Rachaad White, one of my favorite running backs in the league, got action. Mike Evans obviously took care of business. So he's spreading the ball around, and that offense was humming. And they still have a very good defense. They have one of the best safeties in the league. They have really good corners. They have good linebackers. They have good guys on the line. They have a good team. They do have a good team.
You have a napkin here, put some water.
It's fine. We'll pick it up now. Don't worry about that. So Tampa Bay, I think, has a very good chance to beat the Lions.
Yeah.
Because Jared Goff didn't look that good last week.
Yeah, he needs to get Amon Brown involved.
And now
Amon-Ra
looks like he did kind of get banged up.
Did he?
I believe he did have an ankle issue, so he looks banged up. Another reason why I do like Tampa Bay money line there. So I'm going to take them as my dog this week. But I do like my other lines just because I saw this week and I saw, what teams kind of have going for them. And like I told you, man, Jacksonville, even though the Browns are a good team, like Jacksonville is not a bad team. And looking at what the Cowboys just did to them, like I think that the Jacksonville should take care of business against Cleveland, especially because, poor Deshaun Watson, he can't catch a break. They just filed another lawsuit against him. Poor guy just can't catch a lick.
No, not poor guy. Not poor guy.
Well, not poor guy.
Yeah, not poor guy.
Not poor guy.
We do not condone Deshaun Watson, all right? Not poor guy.
But in the sense...
Oh, Pooch. We're just getting full time here. This guy's going to get us canceled.
Not poor guy in the sense of what he was, right? Poor for the poor Browns is what I meant to say.
Poor Browns.
The poor Browns.
Poor Browns fans, because the Browns...
I feel bad for the Browns because the Browns can't catch a break. There we go.
All right. You saved yourself a bit, Pooch.
The Browns can't catch a break.
All right. I've got Dolphins, obviously. Mm-hmm. I've got the Rams too.
Okay.
I like the Rams. They look great.
Obviously, Puka.
I know Puka's huge, but
the return of Cooper Kupp, my boy had him in fantasy, and he got targeted 21 times.
Trust me, I know. I
the return of Cooper. Yeah. So nice team over there.
I got Rams. I'm gonna take the over in the Bears-Texans game, Sunday Night Football. I know Caleb didn't look great. 45.5.
Okay.
I know Caleb didn't necessarily look great, but I think he should. One game under his belt, probably a lot of nerves. I think he's got enough weapons.
That could be an interesting one because
it could be.
Although the Bears' offense, now they lost to Dunze, I think he got banged up.
Yes.
So even though the Bears' offense didn't look as good, I think their defense is actually very good.
It could be.
So it could, hopefully that there's a back and forth exchange on the offensive side. But that could be a very kind of a up and down pick.
I don't want to use the Rams as my dog because they're only +1, and
a dog should be maybe +5 and above. Because I even consider minus if you're +1, that's like a
yeah.
I mean, you can tell me we can have the same dog.
I know we can, but
I want to be original.
I also like the Commanders -1 at home against the Giants.
I was looking at that, but I didn't want to stack up my things too much.
I'll take the Commanders. And then is my dog
Daniel Jones. Let's not even talk about him. Cincy. They're.
I was looking at Cincy.
Oh, that's not gonna look good. That's not gonna be. That might be an ugly game.
I don't know, man. It could. I think they can maybe wake up week 2. I don't know. You know what?
Minnesota against the Niners.
No. I think I'm gonna do it again. I think I'm going to take the Titans. Dogs against the Jets, so +3.5.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the self-inflicted wounds, I think the Tennessee was at 1-0-1 now.
I'm going to take the Titans, I guess.
Yeah, the Titans.
Again, they screwed me already once. I should be 1-0 in the Dogs, but...
but see, I think what happened last week is inflated because it was self-inflicted injuries on the special teams more than anything. So they just cleaned that up. I think they won that game.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and then obviously the pick 6. But obviously I think that's because they're already scrambling and stuff at that point. Yeah. They're already trying to get back in the game. I really do like that pick because I think Tennessee has a very good defense.
Good, man.
And they do have weapons on offense. They have Calvin Ridley. They have... DeAndre, they have Hopkins, Tony Pollard. Yeah. They have a good.
Tony Pollard looked good too. So
Tony Pollard looked good. So a lot of guys, a lot of teams, and now we'll see week 2. Now, like you said, we'll see more now where teams kind of stand.
Yeah.
But as of now, I think right now the bottom of the league right now is between the Giants and the Panthers. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and the Commanders, honestly, but we'll see this week.
No, the Commanders, I think there's promise. I think Jaden Daniels.
That defense is brutal though. But
they look good enough to make it happen, but. If you're a Giants or a Panthers fan, sorry guys. I was just up in New York recently. I wouldn't want to be a Giants fan up there. I wouldn't really want to be a Jets fan right now either.
Yeah.
But
or a Bills fan if we stunk.
Yeah. Or a Bills fan.
Yeah.
But I think that college football is NFL is gonna be very exciting because I think there could be a lot of teams that weren't looked at as good that can come out of the rough and
that's the beauty of it.
Competitive.
That's the beauty of it. You can turn around. You got the right people there. You can turn it around pretty quickly. So. Those are our picks. Week 2, huge week. Go Dolphins. Bills hate week.
Yeah.
Bills. Shula Bowl. Go Panthers. Yeah, go whatever your team is. But thank you for listening. If you made it far this long, again, like, comment, subscribe, everything. We appreciate you guys listening. Pooch. Awesome episode, my friend.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep.
It was fun being here.
Yes.
Andre, we hope you come up. We hope we find you soon.
Who's Andre? Peace.
Hey, fins up, baby. Fins up.